So for today's video, as you guys can clearly tell from the title, but I'm very excited about this video, it is going to be all about my Playlist Live experience. So basically I'm just going to kind of like walk you through kind of my days, and then at the end I'll kind of say like what I don't really like or what I wish that they would do differently. And then I will also share pictures with you guys. I'll put them somewhere up on the screen. And I was gonna vlog, but I am the world's worst vlogger. So I vlogged on the way to the airport, in the airport, but then once we actually got in Orlando, I didn't vlog at all. Mostly it'll be just pictures up right next to me. Alright, so Friday was our first day, and I woke up around 7 o'clock, 7:30, somewhere around there. And then I like kind of got ready and finished packing and stuff like that because Mara and her mom came and picked my mom and I up and drove us to the airport. So I probably got to the airport around like 8:30ish, and then we went through security, got our Starbucks, waited at the terminal, and just all that fun airport stuff. And then we had to leave Mara's mom behind because she wasn't coming with us. So then Mara, my mom, and I got onto the plane, and I think our plane took off at like 10:30ish, and then we got into Orlando at like 12:30ish. And then my grandma actually met us because she lives in Florida, so she just drove up and met us at the airport. So we actually flew into the Orlando Sanford airport. So then we drove like 45-ish minutes to our hotel, and we went ahead and checked in and registered for like playlist. And then we got our luggage, went into our hotel room, and then we just kind of like settled and unpacked. And then we went down to the little cafeteria-ish place, and we got some like lunch. We got like a mini pizza and then a salad, and we ate that. It was actually like really good. We basically had pizza like every day we were there, so I'm not complaining. So after our little lunch, we just walked around the hotel and the grounds and the convention center, and we saw quite a few people that we knew, but we didn't like care to take pictures with them or like wait in lines or whatever. And we also saw a ton of people that we didn't know. So whether they were YouTubers or Viners, I'm not really sure, but there were quite a few people that were like, "Who was that? Do you know who that is?" I don't know who that is. So it's kind of actually funny considering we're on YouTube so much and we don't even know who half these people are. So later at like 7:30ish, we found out about like a little secret entrance sort of thing where like people arriving from the airport or from dinner or whatever would come into the hotel so they wouldn't get mobbed or whatever. And the only people that we saw Friday night were all of the Brits. They had just come in from the airport though. They didn't like stop to take pictures or anything. But we saw Alfie and Zoe and Marcus and Maddie, and I think Louise was there, and there were a few other people. And then we just went back up to the hotel room and got ready for bed and went to bed. Alright, so for Saturday we woke up around 8:30, and then we got ready, and then we headed down to the convention center to get in line for Marcus's meetup. And while we were in line, we were talking to the girls next to us, and they had like little cards for the hangouts. So we're like, "Oh my gosh, where'd you get those?" So we literally ran the mile down to registration and got our little hangout passes. And Mara got the Saucony Jolies, and then I got Zoella. And then once we got our hangout cards, we ran all the way back to Marcus's Q&A line, and then we got into Marcus's Q&A, and it was so fun, and he was really cute. So that was a blast. And then after that, I walked Mara over to the Saucony Jolies hangout because hers started at 1:30. I waited in line until she went into the room, and then once she was in there, I went and got in line for Alfie's meetup because he was the meetup that we both had that day. I was in there from like 1:30, and then we finally met him around 5. And then once Mara was done with the Saucony Jolies, she met me in Alfie's. We met Alfie around 5 o'clock, and he was super sweet and so nice, and I just love him. So while we were in line actually for Alfie's meetup, the girls next to us, she went to the bathroom, and then she said that Jim Chapman was out there. So once we were finished with Alfie, we went to see if Jim was still out there and like doing his like little meetup thing, and he was. So we met Jim, and he was super sweet and tall, and he smelled so good. And then after Jim, we had ordered pizza. So the pizza had arrived, and we ate pizza and salad for dinner again. And then after that, we went back to our little secret hangout spot. So there we actually saw and met quite a few people. The first person was Louis Cole. He was already out there while we like came up, but he was really nice. And then 11th Gorgeous came out and they were so sweet. And then Andrea Russet came out, but she didn't like come down to our side, so we didn't get to take pictures with her, but we did get to see her, so that was neat. And then Tide came out with like Mikey Murphy, Luke Corns, Alexis Giselle, and I feel like there were a couple other people, but I don't remember. And they had like a box of like mini like pizza rolls, so he just like went down the line and passed them all out. Then this kid who we didn't know came out, and Mara texted her brother with the picture, and he said that it was Brandon Bowen, who was like a Viner. So he was really funny, and so was his mom. So that was like a good entertainment. And then JC Kalen came out, and I got a picture with him. And then at 10 o'clock, the security guards made us leave because it was like quiet time or whatever. You know how like hotels have after this hour, you have to like be quiet or something. So at 10 o'clock we went back up to the room and went to bed. Alright, so then for Sunday we woke up at like 7:30 and got ready because Mara had her Zoella meetup. So I walked her down there, and so did my mom, and she was in line for Zoella from like 9 o'clock until like 3ish when she finally met her. She was in there most of the day, but I actually couldn't get into the convention center until after 10 o'clock. So after we dropped Mara off, we went to get breakfast at like the little cafe on like the main floor. And then after that, I went into the main vessel stage, and I had gone to see Louise's Q&A, but then there was actually like a panel before that, and it was Vlogging Your Life Away. So the Saucony Jewelers were there, Louis Cole, Prank vs. Prank, Strawberry 17, and then there were a couple people who I didn't know who they were, but that was kind of interesting. And then Louise came out and did her Q&A, and she was super cute. I absolutely love her. So it was really cool getting to see her. And then after that, I went and relieved my mom because she had got in line for my meetup so that I could be like one of the first people, because my meetup and Zoella's hangout like conflicted. It was 2:30 and then 3, so it was like pushing it. So then I waited in line from like 12ish until 12:45. My meetup was with Amanda Steele, Tila Dunn, Meg DeAngelis, Aspen Ovard, and then Sam Faz. I mainly went for Aspen just because I absolutely love her, and Parker was there too, so it was like really cute. And then the second reason was because Zoella's was full, so my second choice was Aspen. So then I got to meet them, but I hated the setup of that meetup. They were all behind like 2-3 feet tables, so you like couldn't hug them and you couldn't really talk to them. You just like awkwardly reached over. I was just like not a very good setup at all. After that, Mara was waiting for me because she was done with Zoe, and then we ran down to Zoella's hangout. We got into the room at like 5:15, 5:30. Jim, Jonathan, and Amelia came in, and they said that Zoe had a panic attack, so she wasn't able to make it. But it was still like really fun, and it was a nice Q&A, and then Jim at the end took pictures with everyone, so I got to meet him again, which was really cool, and he remembered us, and so it was fun. So after that, we went back up to the room and just kind of hung out and got some food, and then we decided to go back down to the little hot spot that we had found. So not too many people came out. There were a few people that I didn't know who they were, and then most people though had already left for Universal. But we did get to see the Brits again. Castor was literally standing right next to me, but then he walked away, so I didn't get a picture with him. And then Joe and Alfie and Ollie were all out there too. And I think the Saucony Jewelers were out there. They didn't like, most people got on the bus, not very many people came out to take pictures and stuff, but we saw them at least. And then after, we waited like a half an hour, 45 minutes after they had left, and we were like, hey, everyone's at Universal, let's just go up to our hotel room and sleep, because we had to wake up at 4:30 the next morning. We went back to the hotel room, packed, and just went to bed, and then we had to wake up at 4:30 on Monday to like finish packing and drive to the airport, because it was like a 45-minute drive. And then our flight didn't leave until like 7, but then it got delayed until like 8:30 or something. And then we finally touched down back home at like 11ish. So yeah, that was my weekend. It was honestly though one of the best weekends of my life. It was so much fun, and it was so worth the $500 that I paid for it. It was just amazing. So the only thing that I didn't really like about how Playlist was set up was the meetups. I feel like if they did like groups or something, like group A goes in first, then group E, then group C, like you would just save a lot of time and be able to be out than just sitting in chairs like waiting to meet somebody. So I think that would be like my main complaint. Also the fact that almost everyone was late to their meetups and hangouts for that matter. And then also for the meetups, there should not be a table between you and the people you're meeting. I get that there's a lot of people that they have to meet, but it's not as like personal, it's not as intimate as you would want it to be. And considering you're waiting in line for so many hours, like wouldn't you want to actually hug the person instead of like awkwardly going, hey, you know what I mean? So other than those two things, I thought Playlist Live was amazing, and we are definitely planning on going next year. Although I think next year I'll be able to go as a creator because I didn't know how to do that this year, and then I found out and I was like, oh darn. But next year I'll be able to be as like a creator or whatever, and then it'll be a completely different experience, but I think it'll be fun. So I'm excited for that. And yeah, make sure you guys thumbs this video up if you enjoyed it, and I will talk to you guys next week. Bye!
No, honey, I'm good. I could have another, but I probably should not.